Recap in minutes. In today's video, we will be enjoying an action thriller film, entitled Sabotage. There will be spoilers ahead, chill out and enjoy. The movie begins with the DEA's Special Operations Team, led by John Breacher Wharton and consisting of 7 other agents, currently en route to a drug cartel's house party. Agent James Monster Murray's wife, Lizzie Murray, is inside. She is the asset tasked with monitoring activity within the home in order to locate the drug lord. Breacher is calling Lizzie while they are in transit. But she's preoccupied with her brief intercourse with the drug lord. Breacher's crew is backed up by a second sniper stationed inside the drug cartel's compound and kills the threat before he can fire on Breacher's car. A loud commotion outside causes the drug lord to become enraged, and in response, Lizzie kicks him in the groin. With this new opening, Lizzie can finally kill the drug lord. While Lizzie changes into her outfit and puts on her gear, Breacher and the rest of his team, Joe Grinder Phillips, Julia Sugar Edmonds, Eddie Neck Jordan, Tom Pyro Roberts, Bryce Tripod McNeely, and Smoke Jennings, set up an improvised bomb on the front door. They finally were able to kill the machine gunner hiding in the walls. A headshot from one of the agents encourages the rest of the team to press on in their search for the real enemy. A Drug Enforcement Administration team busts into the drug lord's home and makes off with $10 million in drug proceeds. Intruder calls in to report many gunshots to Superior Floyd DeMel at the headquarters. While other people are stuffing the money into plastic bags, Smoke is digging the sewers. Unfortunately, a hitman for the drug lord finds them and kills Smoke. After losing contact with the Superior, Breacher and the others return to their subterranean hideout. The thief uses the remaining funds as a smokescreen and blows them. Even digging in the sewage system didn't turn up any sign of the missing cash. The agents have returned to headquarters for an interview with their superior. After discovering that $10 million disappeared from their operation, they are being questioned. DeMel has placed them on indefinite leave while the Drug Enforcement Administration looks into the theft allegations. Agents from the federal government follow Breacher around while he is suspended. After a few months passed with no additional clues or admissions, the agents returned to the Drug Enforcement Administration, and Breacher was summoned to his superior's office to deliver the happy news that the investigation had concluded successfully. Breacher is also given back his service firearm and identification badge. Breacher also returns to active duty and hands over his team's badges. Upon their return, the agents participate in an operation training session led by Breacher. The team is confused and out of control. It is indeed clear that Breacher has noticed this. Breacher has picked up on Monster's strange behavior and is not pleased. Monster confronts Breacher and expresses his displeasure at the recouped money from their operation, which he claims they lost. When asked about the team's lost money, Breacher assured him that they would be recovered in due time. Agents are starting to have second thoughts about working with Breacher. The group then begins a new exercise and begins to work together. The agents celebrate their reunion with a visit to a bar later that night. After several drinks, the agents started arguing with one another. After that, Pyro takes his team outside to return home. Meanwhile, Pyro is thirsty after getting home and awakes in the middle of the night. When he hears the approaching train, he grabs the keys and runs for it. He is unable to unlock the door in time, and a train rams the van before Pyro can escape. After hearing the news, Breacher headed to the location of the crime. Assigned to investigate Pyro's murder are homicide detective Caroline Brentwood and her colleague, Darius Jackson of the Atlanta Police Department. In an effort to recover Pyro, they set out to collect all of his scattered pieces. When Brentwood smells alcohol on Pyro's body, he informs Breacher that he and his other teammates of Pyro will be investigated. For whatever reason, Detective Brentwood decides to come up to Breacher's home after Pyro's burial and start an investigation into the team. For some reason, Lizzie thinks the detective is a stripper. Once inside, the other agents mocked Detective Brentwood and made fun of her. While Brentwood requests a statement from the agents, they are relaxing with a few drinks. Breacher interrupts Grinder as he makes fun of Detective Brentwood. Since Brentwood recognizes that Neck is avoiding interrogation on purpose, Breacher goes with her to his house in the hopes that he will finally give in. Breacher discovers eerie darkness as they arrive at his residence since all the lights are out. In the event of danger, Detective Brentwood prepares her firearm. Inside, they keep looking for Neck, and Detective Brentwood falls into a pool of blood. At that point, they discover Neck disemboweled and fastened to the ceiling. After that, an autopsy is performed on Neck's body at the lab. While investigating, Detective Brentwood and her partner notice hair that is clearly not from the victim, Neck. In order to get the strand analyzed in a lab, they have requested that the doctor remove it. There is a clear pattern of the agents being eliminated one by their adversary. Meanwhile, Brentwood is on her way to take a statement from Monster and Lizzie at their home. Brentwood recognized the execution as typical of the Rio Garza drug cartel, causing Breacher to believe the cartel was on the hunt for the team because of the stolen money. Tripod, who's been suspended from the Drug Enforcement Administration and afterward quit the agency, is visited by Breacher and Brentwood. After they enter Tripod's home, they give Brentwood a heads up about the booby traps that have been set up. Assailants ambush Tripod just as Brentwood and Breacher approach Tripod's home. He sees the attackers and quickly draws his gun to kill them. When Breacher and Brentwood discover his body in a pile of cash during a gunfight, it's too late. After following a lead left by the attacker, Breacher discovers one of the intruders has been killed by a booby trap set up in the home. Breacher has pegged the latter as an operative for a drug cartel. Monster goes back to the headquarters to see Detective Brentwood, who is skeptical of Breacher and his squad because of the drug cartel money they stole. Monster tells her that the cartels kidnapped Breacher's family after the death of one of the drug lords they captured in their operation 2 years ago. Breacher received a video of his wife and son being brutally tortured and murdered by their kidnappers and their severed body parts. Breacher spent months looking for the people who killed his family until he finally gave up the search and returned home. Then, out of nowhere, Breacher steps forward. Monster tells Detective Brentwood his backstory. It is Breacher's demand that Monster return home and leave him and Detective Brentwood alone. Monster adds that he truly wants to be of help. To Breacher, Brentwood extends his apologies. When Detective Brentwood goes for a swim later that night, she is surprised to see Breacher standing in her pool. As a gesture of goodwill, he offers her a bottle of wine. When she asks who shot at Tripod's house, Breacher reveals their identities. They are the Special Forces of Guatemala. Breacher is playing with Brentwood's emotions by showing her evidence that could be useful to the investigation. The night ends with Detective Brentwood embracing Breacher and the two sharing a tender moment together. Darius Jackson sees Breacher's car leaving Brentwood's home the following morning on his way there. He pokes fun at Detective Brentwood for dating the agent. Also, she shares the files she obtained from Breacher with her partner in case they prove useful later on. Meanwhile, Jackson follows the trail of the murdered enforcer's smartphone to a cartel safe house, where Brentwood issues an arrest warrant as well as where Breacher and his squad simultaneously conduct a raid. Once Breacher and his squad have eliminated the cartel's guards, they are able to extract the liquid meth that has been stored within the safe house. At first sight and first sip, Lizzie is overjoyed. The agent's intended victims were not the Guatemalan Special Forces but rather other drug cartels. Detective Brentwood and her crew have made it to the cartel's safe house. Due to Breacher and his squad clearing the area, their operation has been jeopardized. Brentwood is furious that he was used for his personal benefit, and he confronts him about it. Then the agents leave the area. Men who are out fishing near Tripod's house stumble upon a body at the river's bottom. They report it immediately, and Detective Brentwood determines that the deceased members of the Guatemalan Special Forces she has been searching for are among the dead. They were slain before Pyro and Neck, and she figures the cartel is being set up as the bad guys. Team Brentwood, led by Detective Brentwood, has been staying late to solve this case. Breacher is rewatching the footage of his family's execution when he receives a message from his squad. They all gather in an empty lot and begin aiming their weapons at one another. They are figuring out who the traitor is. Discord has arisen inside the group. In a fit of rage, Lizzie blurts out that she's been cheating on her husband with Sugar. Infuriated by his wife's bafflement, Monster accuses Sugar of being a traitor and threatens his life. Lizzie and Sugar leave, and Monster and Breacher are left alone. Grinder then visits Detective Brentwood to reveal the truth about the theft, telling Brentwood that he and Breacher stole the money. The money, he says Brentwood, may have been stolen by one of the agents. Brentwood is currently pondering the implications of Grinder's admission for her efforts to recover the missing funds. During this time, Breacher and Brentwood are at a restaurant with Grinder. Grinder feels terrible that they let Brentwood in on their secret, but Breacher says he is fine. Suddenly, Lizzie fires a sniper shot at Grinder from a safe distance. Lizzie is accidentally outed as a DEA agent to Brentwood and Breacher by a passing police officer. Breacher confirms to the cop that Lizzie is also with Sugar. Both Lizzie and Sugar have been complicit in the deaths of their fellow teammates. Currently, Lizzie is packing her bags in preparation for her and Sugar's departure from the country. In an effort to prevent her from leaving the country, Monster destroys her passport, and Lizzie kills him with a knife. Upon visiting Lizzie's home, Breacher and Brentwood discover Monster's body stashed inside a refrigerator. When Lizzie contacts Breacher, she says she's by herself, but in reality, she's calling to set up Breacher in a parking garage. With Sugar's help, she intends to assassinate Breacher. Breacher and Detective Brentwood travel there together as the detective stays hidden in the car. When Breacher exits the vehicle, he discovers a kidnapped woman inside Sugar's vehicle. Breacher is ambushed by Lizzie and Sugar, and Brentwood comes to his rescue. After that, Breacher and Brentwood chase after Lizzie and Sugar's car as they speed off. There was a civilian death caused by Lizzie's reckless shooting. Both Breacher and Brentwood have apparently been lost to them. Breacher's vehicle resumes its pursuit of Sugar's all of a sudden. Long chase over, Sugar and Lizzie's automobile crashes into a tow truck, Sugar's head severed by the ramp. Breacher and Brentwood go up against Lizzie, who accuses the team of stealing the money behind her back, prompting her to seek vengeance. Brentwood is confused because he believes Lizzie has stolen the money. Eventually, Breacher confesses to Lizzie that he stole the money. With her weapon in reach, Lizzie is killed by Breacher. Once the local police showed up, Breacher vanished. Breacher spends weeks later in Mexico, where he bribes a corrupt police official with the stolen money to assist him in finding the killer responsible for his family's deaths, Brujo. Breacher tracks him down at a Mexican diner and executes him and his loyal followers. The movie ends with, despite his injuries, Breacher sitting at a table, downing a shot of whiskey, lighting his last cigar, and smiling as he listens to the music become louder and awaits his fate. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this and help the channel grow.